What's good, YouTube, man? I'm back with another video, man. In this video, bro, I'm gonna be talking about Boruto 2 Blue Vortex Chapter 7. And first thing first, since this is my first time talking about Boruto on my channel, I have to give a little slight introduction on my opinion on it and what I feel about the series. First thing first, bro, I have to say, I don't know what got into Ikimoto or Kishimoto over the years, but in this series, bro, they literally just dropped the hammer down. They put every single brain cell to work and they crafted a magnificent piece of literature. If I do say so myself, bro. Because Boruto, I have to say, despite all the hated garners, it is a fire series. Like, what Kishimoto or Ikimoto, I don't know who to give credit to, what they did with Boruto is they made him an amalgam of every single shinobi we fell in love with in the Naruto series, and they put him into one body. Like, he has Itachi's life, he has Naruto and Minato's lightness and jutsu and Minato's genius, he has Sasuke's stoicness and cool-headedness, and he learned from him. He got Kakashi's lightning blade. At this point, it's like that Drake song.
I got everything. I cannot complain.
Yeah, except his life, family, and friends, village, and everything else he holds dear. But besides that, everything else good. He the god of shinobi. It's like we're getting what we wanted for Naruto at the beginning of the Naruto Shippuden anime. I mean, not to still go through so much, like his life to still suck. It's like him have to still overcome all that adversity, but we wanted him to have a purpose we could actually get behind instead of trying to rescue that bastard the entire story. Like, Boruto is trying to retrieve his actual life, everything back, and it's kind of compelling in his own way. And in the midst of while trying to do that, he's pretty much dog walking anybody who crosses his path. And it's like, it leaves you with just one word you can say, just like, bravo. Just like to whoever taught him, just bravo. To his bloodline, his lineage, everything he did, whatever he did in the last 3 years, bro, bravo. Like, Boruto right now is at a level so, like, his base is so strong. He is so overwhelmingly powerful at this early stage in the manga. We cannot even fathom what his ceiling gonna be. We don't know how strong he gonna actually end up becoming, because Ikimoto and Kishimoto went back in the kitchen and they just turned into Gordon Ramsay. They crafted a masterpiece. Before I turn this video into some type of Krispy Kreme style, like Glazathon, let me mention there are gripes about it. There are some things that ain't A1 about Boruto. Primarily it's anime. Like, cause this is the first series I've ever witnessed or watched that's actually been held back by his anime. The anime is filler, all filler garbage. Just watch the manga camp. Like, for example, you had that one art, like, from Sasuke wrestling. Everybody was roasting online when they had our boy Sasuke looking like Crocodile Dundee. He out here wrestling with reptiles. I mean, I can't defend that. I can't defend it. But what I will say is the manga is fire. And with that being said, let's continue into chapter 7. Let's go. This starts off with Mitsuki, and he's having an internal monologue with himself, because he's having a kind of a little self-crisis dealing with the fact that his son is not the person who he think he is. And this goes back to Boruto and Mitsuki relationship in Boruto part 1. And I wouldn't say they had a relationship as if they were two peas in a pod. I would describe it as if like two kids in a lunch line. Like, you had the first kid, Boruto, who was always looking forward to what's next, what's coming up. And you had the kid that's behind him who always stares at the back of his head, ready for whatever, as long as his friend is in front of him. That's what I describe it as. But it just comes across looking as if they got the sussest relationship of all of anime. I mean, surpassing Gon and Killua. But they get a pass because they kids. Like, Mitsuki had a self-portrait of Boruto by his bed that he would wake up and look at every morning. And the analogy used in the story is that Boruto is Mitsuki's sun that illuminates his moon. But because Omnipotence switched Boruto and Kawaki's roles, that leaves Mitsuki with a sun that's as dim as a nightlight in Kawaki. I said dim, but in actuality, I mean dark. I mean, he darker than a dark night in Gotham. And with that being the case, it's kind of been foreshadowed in the previous chapter that Mitsuki's kind of beginning to question the idea that Kawaki's his son. Despite his misgivings, he's still staunchly loyal to Kawaki, viewing him as his son. And that led to him roofing Kawaki with a snake the other chapters ago. Couple chapters ago, we seen him knock him out. That kind of decreased Kawaki's thoughts, I ain't gonna lie. But and it led to him stalking Boruto. Now that I say that word stalk, that's exactly how Kawaki feel what Mitsuki been doing throughout these 3 years. Throughout the interactions that we seen throughout part 2, that's exactly Kawaki view him as a overbearing stalker with a bloodlust so palpable that it makes it hard to breathe. That's when we start the chapter at Mitsuki bloodlust being unleashed. He's already had Snake Sage mode activated and he goes at Boruto at full speed. Then we see Boruto go old school with it. He whip out the ninja shuriken but misses and hit the tree behind. That's when we see Mitsuki counter by summoning multiple sage snakes that try to attack Boruto. But Boruto, he making it look like light work. He's dodging them easily, like as if he possesses a 3-tome Sharingan. Panel we see Boruto forms a hand sign and he uses the Flying Thunder Guard technique to teleport to the tree that Shuriken landed on with his seal on. That's when we see Boruto, he goes in a dialogue. He asks Mitsuki, where your new boyfriend at? I thought Kawaki was the one chasing me. You know, Mitsuki replies, man, you worry about the wrong thing. I will be your executioner. I will be the one sending you to the upper room. But that's when we see Shikamaru. He's giving him the MO. He's pretty much saying Kawaki out cold. Mitsuki put him down with his Snake Sage. Using the Yamanaka clan's jutsu, Shikamaru proceeds to give Boruto the deets on the situation in hand. So, Mitsuki ain't want Kawaki going after Boruto because Boruto made sense his aura. So, he kind of went rogue, knocked him out, and went on the chase on his own time. Going to the next panel, and Mitsuki pretty much says he's fully aware of his ex capabilities, and he know his new man is not able to defeat Boruto, so he pretty much got taken upon himself to try to file Boruto pack on his own. This leads credence to what we know about Kawaki from part 1. He doesn't believe in the ninja style way of training. He doesn't believe in the ninja way. He only believes in training by deadly combat from what he learned from Jigen, which pretty much we could assume that he ain't developed no new jutsu. All he know pretty much has inherited from Ishiki. And in the next panel, we see Boruto's response. And his response is the reason I say he resembles Sasuke. Like, his stoicness, like, he's brutally honest. And he pretty much tells Mitsuki, listen, you in the same boat as Kawaki. I know diff you too. So both of us fighting here is meaningless. And Mitsuki's response to that is, listen, there's another reason I came out here. And it's for me to go all out. He also mentions without deferring to Kawaki, but I ignored that because he really asking like an escaped slave. I mean, come on, bro, you do have free will. But this causes Boruto to question, what do you mean? And he says, that's between me and my man. But then he unleashes multiple other snakes. And them snakes turn into Mitsuki clones and they unleash snakes. And this does nothing. Boruto dodges that. And all he mentions that the more is not the better. All you're doing is wrecking nature. And I'm like, Boruto, chill out, my G. You not a botanist. Like, come on. The environment, like, climate change, the least of your worries. I think he was just saying at the time. Because I must say, this new Boruto, he's mighty arrogant. Like, he's arrogant as hell. Like, he got some pride. I ain't gonna say he on the Vegeta level, but I guess he can't help it. Because when you get to the level he on, like, you pretty much the MC Helma of your verse, like, can't touch this. And you pretty much could no diff every single person solo win. I think when he gonna get to a point where he needs to be humble, but that's obviously not the time for it. Like, when you on a level as a Otsutsuki god like he is, I guess you can't help but be prideful. And let's get into the next panel. The next panel, Mitsuki pretty much telling Boruto, you're the problem. You just need to disappear for the sake of the world. You just need to go away. And Boruto, he's showing a little bit more of his emo side. He's saying stuff like, maybe you're right. Maybe I do need to disappear. And it's like, Boruto, just shut up. Because you literally blameless in all this. This is all Kawaki's fault. I understand you're playing your Itachi role, but you're overplaying your part. Saying all this suicidal-ish. Like, you're literally destined to be Shadow Hokage for Sarada. You can't do that in the clouds of Minato. We see Boruto also goes on to mention that it's time to stop playing around. He finna get serious. And he actually reminiscent of Itachi in the next panel because he activates what I call clan killing jutsu, only use me blade. And he team wipes the Mitsuki clones using only his sword. And we see in the next page Mitsuki reaction to this. And he's honestly baffled. He's flabbergasted because I'm guessing he never imagined the gap between him and Boruto to be this large. He even has an internal monologue when he questions what a monster he is. And it's like, Mitsuki, you put yourself in this situation. I mean, you've been acting like a raging bull the entire chapter. You're hopping yourself in a pit with an elephant. You can't expect not to get stomped on. But Boruto, he being your ex, he not going to do you like that. He going to put you down soft. The fight continues in the next page, and we see Mitsuki charging towards Boruto, weaving hand signs, and he performs a jutsu called Snake Lightning. Boruto, he counters with his own lightning technique, Thunderbolt Arrow, and they have a lightning jutsu clash. And within the smoke, Boruto, he rises and he ups the blade and puts it towards Mitsuki's neck, but he doesn't pull the trigger. Mitsuki, I guess he came with all his resolve. He tells him, go ahead, why don't you finish me off? And that signifies the end of their battle. And that's when I guess we get to the part of the chapter where Boruto decides to whip out his Talk no Jutsu chops and test them out on Mitsuki. Talk him down off his leg. Boruto begins by questioning Mitsuki's resolve and his reasons for coming here. He asks Mitsuki, did he actually come here to die, or was it all out of desperation? It's because he lost hope. And then he's kind of equating to the fact that Kawaki, as his son, he's losing his brilliance. Like I said earlier in the video, Kawaki shine as bright as a night light. He's not giving off most radiance to illuminate no moon. So Mitsuki's been coming to the realization that things are not as they appear. And we're starting to see cracks in Mitsuki's belief in the omnipotence hold on him. And Boruto begins to pick at that. Conversation continues. We see it pique Shikamaru's interest. And he tells Ino to make it so he can hear Mitsuki's voice also. And he's tuned in now also. We go into the next page and we see Mitsuki with a puzzled look on his face. He taking in what Boruto said to him. And he replies with, what do you know anyway, Boruto? You're just a grudge-bearing traitor. You don't know anything about me anyway. And that's when Boruto, he goes into this little soliloquy. Long story short, he pretty much let Mitsuki know, listen, if there's anyone in the world that could illuminate you, then it's me, my guy. I'm your son. Be made aware of that. You was my number one blazer, my best bandwagon to the end of time, and now Kawaki, that's not him. For like Mitsuki, that was the last straw. It enrages him. The dam breaks, and he goes into attack Boruto. And it's like, in his shoes, you can imagine why. Because it's like, you Kage killing mother sucker. How do you think you know me? People you do know, you try to kill them. You send them to the upper room. But we continue. We see Mitsuki's snake. It goes to wrap around Boruto. But before it can attack, Mitsuki questions, how dare you? You're my son? You have some nerve. And Boruto's reply to that is, if that's the case, why hasn't your snake attacked me yet? And Mitsuki rebuttals with, well, you have multiple means to escape. Why haven't you escaped yet? The verbal back and forth continues. And Boruto, he continues to pick at the cracks in Mitsuki's belief. He questions how you should have already noticed it by now. A long time ago, you've noticed that Kawaki, he's not your son. He hasn't illuminated you these last 3 years. With a son like Kawaki, Mitsuki's been pretty much having a crowd around him and hope the wind doesn't blow him out. Like he doesn't fizzle out on his own. He's showing no brightness. He dusty as hell. Here I am. I stand before you looking dripped out, shining and glistening, looking dipped in butter. And you not coming to the realization, you not peeping I'm him? It's like... all seriousness, I guess this kind of just gives credence to how overpowered the Senjutsu really is, because it's kind of like reality bending, because it makes you completely ignore common sense. Like the moment it happened, Boruto had just been attacked by Kawaki and was given a scar across his eye, and when the Senjutsu happened, they switched places and no one questioned the fact that Boruto shouldn't have the scar on his eye because he's in the shoes of Kawaki now. But I guess that just shows how this Senjutsu works. We shouldn't expect nothing less from a divine technique wielded by God. But let's continue into the chapter. The conversation between Boruto and Mitsuki continues. And Boruto, he's kind of just beating an old dead horse. He's letting Mitsuki know that no matter how much he will it to be true, how long he sticks beside Kawaki, it will never be possible that he will illuminate you and be the sunshine, your moon, whatever that weird analogy is. And Mitsuki, this kind of just hitting him between the eyes. He's taking in what Boruto says, and he's kind of looking like he's believing it. He's saying that it can't be, that's not possible. And Boruto, he continues saying, it's okay to be confused. It's kind of confusing. This omnipotence is really overpowering, my guy. But if you want to decide, I think you're the one who could decide what a son means. Well, you're the one who could illuminate yourself. He kind of giving him his own like self-esteem kind of. I guess he's doing what he's supposed to do. He's the son. He actually illuminating a path for Mitsuki to follow. He actually extends an olive branch to Mitsuki and tells him, if you need a son, you need somebody to, I guess, illuminate you, a road dog to ride by. You could always come and visit me. I don't know. And it seems that Boruto finally struck a nerve with Mitsuki, and we see the conversation begin to wind down or wrap up. Mitsuki undoes his snake, but before that, he questions Boruto. Well, who are you, bro? Like, what is this? Like, because I'm guessing the omnipotence is telling him Kawaki is supposed to be a whole different person. And the person that appears before him is a completely different person than the Kawaki he remembers. Like, he never expected Boruto to have a bachelor's in psychology. So he's kind of stunned. I was going to give Mitsuki a little bit of insurances. Like, I won't actually be killing Kawaki. We just need to settle this as brothers. You know, we got to deal with our brotherly dispute on our own time. And then you maybe just don't involve yourself again. I might have to not stump you in the dirt again, my brother. Mitsuki. Obviously, this could have been way worse. I honestly feel like he went light on him. He kind of no-dipped him, but he did go light. He ain't really decreased Mitsuki's thoughts. He's still one of the strongest in the verse. But he did separate himself, and the gap between them was pretty much acknowledged. Like, that's literally the gap between him and Team 7's bloodthirstiest member over the last 3 years. So we can only imagine the gap between him and the Shikacho trio or the rest of his generation. I mean, he literally stands above them on the podium looking down like they peons. So I guess I've been hearing people saying this kind of decreases the tension, but I really feel like the Shinju is going to be on the level of Boruto. I guess they're going to humble him even more. We need him to be humbled, but it's not the time. Let him flex for a little bit, y'all. Moving on, Mitsuki has one last thing he has to ask Boruto before he leaves, and he pretty much asks him, why did you kill Lord 7? And that's when Boruto finally drops the bombshell on everyone, letting them know that Lord 7 is alive, along with his wife. And it's kind of sad for Hinata, because no one literally cares about her. Pretty much, I guess, besides Boruto and him and Ari, because he was going to mention my mom, but he got to retcon that. Like, imagine having to retcon saying your mom. That's tough. I ain't gonna lie, that is tough. Like, Boruto has a tough life, even though it was well needed, because this literally saved the series. This decision to make him most hated, it saved the series. But I digress. We continue with the chapter. Before leaving, he has one last thing he needs to say to Mitsuki. And he pretty much gives him the light at the end of the tunnel. He lets Mitsuki in on the secret, telling him that I think, in my opinion, you could shine all by yourself, Mitsuki. I think you could do good all by yourself. But I understand, we are forced when we together. I'm sorry, y'all. Please. I'm sorry. Don't click off. My bad. I had to. Continue with the chapter, and the reunion between the jilted lovers concludes. And we see in the next panel reaction to the bombshell dropped by Ino that Naruto's still alive. And after that, Shikamaru tells Boruto he needs to confirm the information with him. We head into the next page, and we see Kawaki. He's waking up from being roofied by Mitsuki, and he's asking Ada where's that bastard went. And then we head into the next panel, and we see Shikamaru. He's confirming the details of the omnipotent senjutsu that Boruto relayed to him. And he's kind of just going over the fact that his memories were being rewritten, and he's kind of baffled by that. Continues, and Boruto relays the details of the omnipotent senjutsu. And one thing that we get the revelation of is that the omnipotence, the actual mechanics of it is not something that sticks into your memory. It's something that will slip, is grasped in your mind over time. Like, you can't grasp the actual mechanics of it. The only thing that you can really remember is the fact that Boruto and Kawaki's lives are switched. Sage continues, and Boruto mentioned that this is not the first time that this information has been relayed to Shikamaru. He's actually been told the mechanics of the senjutsu over a time period of 3 years, possibly, with Sarada and the class rep being the only two other people who are not enveloped by the jutsu. However, regardless of the fact that you may be aware of it, you will eventually just revert back to what you know as your memories that the senjutsu altered. And that kind of just make this senjutsu overly broken. So we kind of given no hope to how Boruto could retrieve his life back from Kawaki. And it's mentioned here that Shikamaru asked him, is there any other way to reverse it? And I guess in Boruto's mind, he kind of just gave up hope on that fact. He's just going to try to knock some sense into Kawaki. Because he mentions even if the Shinjutsu was to be reversed, that still wouldn't resolve the issue that him and Kawaki has between each other. I just broke it down like this. Until the issues with Kawaki are resolved between him and Boruto, there's no chance that he's going to unseal Naruto. And things will never go back to the way they were. So he's just going to bound to do it again, as Boruto says. If they don't resolve it, he's going to seal Naruto up again and make him feel safe. And Shikamaru mentions, if I was in your shoes, I probably would just go about trying to save my dad and smoke Kawaki. Boruto being Boruto, and this not being the way Uzumaki's do things. He said he just want to save him. He don't want to hurt him. He gonna just go about this in a brotherly way, Sasuke Naruto type way. I'm gonna knock some sense in him. Hope he unseals my dad and things resolve themselves like that. And Shikamaru was like, okay, if that's the case, you're just gonna have to go about being a traitor or wear this wet coat of having smoked your father until we actually resolved this. Shigarou mentions with the fact that Kawaki being the antithesis of the Senjutsu, he doesn't want him to feel cornered again. So he want to make him feel comfortable. They're gonna hide his dirty deeds, and you're gonna continue to be relentlessly pursued by Anbu and everyone else in the whole entire Shinobi world. And you know, Boruto, I guess he just such an edgelord. He says, I don't care. He could care less about that. And while this is going on, we actually cut to the Senju in their hideout, and we have the one that most appears to be like Jigen. This man is just studying up. I guess he just got his book, he got his library card, and he's been studying up. He done invaded the library, and he got like 15, 20 books stacked up around him, and he's studying up on the humanity, pretty much. He's studying up on humanity as a whole. He's probably learning on every subject. People have been mentioning that he has Jiraiya book and he's reading it. I couldn't see that, but it would make sense that he's trying to learn about Naruto because that's his primary target. So we see he's gaining more knowledge, and we see Sasuke, his actual Senju's in the background. He ain't got a book in his hand. I guess he deep in thought. And in the end of the chapter, we see the Senju, he resolves to go after Naruto. And I'm guessing that's going to be the next chapter. So, y'all tell me if y'all like this video, man. Y'all like, subscribe. Peace, man. If I did a good job, y'all let me know if y'all want me to continue to cover Boruto or any other manga y'all want me to cover. Peace.